More with the MacVoices Live panel on Apple's Glowtime event. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by 1Password Extended Access Management. It is security for the way we work today. Find out more at onepassword.com/MacVoices. David, how about you?
I had it in the cart and I was tempted, but I think the oxygen sensor is kind of a deal breaker for me too. I've got the Series 9, so I went from the 7 to the 9 last year. So I'm kind of on the fence. They got some cool bands. I was looking something different. I think that plum band looked kind of neat. But I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of sit chilly and see where I go here and then probably just be happy with the 9. Because a lot of the software that's going to be with WatchOS 11 is going to the 9 is going to pretty much be able to do everything the 10 can do. Other than the battery life that was kind of attractive for the 30-minute charging times, and then getting much better, a little bit better battery life. But again, mine's only a year old. Or yours, Chuck, is you got the 7, so I'm sure your battery life is not as good as it was.
According to the website, the battery life is identical between the 9 to the 10.
Yeah.
It's the same 18 hours. So,
but the fast charging, I guess, was another attractive.
Makes a difference.
With the 10, yeah.
For sure. But it's only 15 minutes faster, so I'm not sure how much that makes a difference for you.
Numbers are very close on the 9 to 10. I looked at the trading value on the 9. I mean, in the US, they're only giving $170, which I think is kind of a ripoff, honestly.
Well, I saw a couple places that I guess if you trade soon enough, they're giving you a premium. That obviously it's not with Apple, but that they were giving you a premium. But I always, it seems like some of those places pop up. There's some that are absolutely legit and have been around for a while, but some of the newer ones, I'm about to ship off my Apple Watch and wait for them to send me the money, and that's always a little shaky.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I'm sorry. Did we hear from you on your plan, or are you just not?
Oh, I like the look of the band. I didn't want to pay for the look of the band. And I need the oxygen sensor, so I'm staying with my Ultra 1 for now. And since there weren't a ton of changes between, the Ultra 2 had that. There's a couple of things that were kind of nice, but I figure I can wait one more year. Okay. So I'm just going to hold off. I have a lot of other things to buy where I will spend my money again and again. So,
and we'll be talking about each and every one of them, Eric. Don't you worry. Anything else on the Apple Watches? I thought it was a little bit of a surprise that at the last minute, all the rumors for the Apple Watch Ultra 3 collapsed and into the Black Ultra 2. So does that mean it wasn't ready? Does that mean that there never was a plan for an Ultra 3 this time around? Who knows?
I don't think there's an Ultra 3 coming this year.
There was
usually springtime.
Yeah, there was one website, and I'm not going to call them out. You can do a Google search if you want, that gave you like 3 reasons you should be buying the Ultra 3. Before the announcements.
That's fantastic.
And people wonder why I don't pay attention to rumors.
Reason number 4, they haven't shipped it yet.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, there's a question in the YouTube chat that, the same chat that I can't type in.
Right.
Barry's asking if we know if the oxygen sensor has been removed from the 10.
Hasn't.
It has not. It's just a software disabled feature.
We don't know. The reality is we don't know. They're not mentioning the sensor. They're just saying the app is not available. So it could be they have a special version for the US. No, in the US. It's available in the rest of the world. So it could be there's a special version, a special hardware version for the US, or it could be it's in there, but they've just not shipped the app. We don't know. I don't think. Apple is not saying, and nobody knows.
Okay, so outside the U.S., we know the sensors are still there.
Yes.
Inside the U.S., we're not certain. It would make sense for them to be there.
To just Yeah, it's probably
And then
cheaper to just clip.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same sensor that they use for heart rate?
I
software
think
on
it
top
might
of
be
that?
integrated. Yeah, I think it might be integrated into that somehow.
And it would only make sense, first of all, just from a production standpoint. Why would
Yeah.
you manufacture one just for the U.S. and potentially hobble it if and when the Massimo debate gets resolved?
Think how mad people would be. Oh, we resolved that, but your watch still doesn't get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Apple will totally do that. They will say, "Well, buy the Series 11."
I don't know,
Yeah.
Patrice. That
I don't think so.
Well,
That was-
the point is they're not promising it right now. So you technically did not buy it. So they can technically say, well, the 10 doesn't have it, and the 11
they
might
didn't
have it.
promise me a sleep apnea feature on my Ultra Watch 2 yet. I'm getting it. They didn't promise me. Well, I don't have an AirPods Pro 2, but if I did, people that have those are getting the hearing aid feature. That
For
was
sure.
never promised.
They can ship it if they want to, but they don't have to. They can simply say, well, the 10 doesn't have it. Done. We'll see. I don't think they would, but
think
they
that's
could.
very unlikely because, like Jeff said, they've got to ship this around the world. They're going to keep track of a separate inventory, especially since they
do that all the
it's
time.
The same sensor as the heart rate sensor.
I'm with you that on the hardware level, I think it's probably the same, and it makes no sense to change it. But they do that all the time. The iPhone that they ship in Europe is a completely different model than the one in the US, for example. Like has different chips and so on.
That would just feel though, really, really, really strange to say, say you have an Apple Watch 8, like I think some are that with the blood oxygen sensor that functions, but I have a 10, and now that the thing is resolved, I still can't, I can't
buy the 11.
Yeah, I mean, buy the 11.
Apple has done that in the past. It's
yeah,
buy the 11.
yeah, but I don't. That doesn't feel like the Apple of today right now.
I get what both of you are saying.
Yeah.
And I'll just point out, no corporation is your friend, not even Apple. So
I think because
go ahead.
Because the 9 has the chip in it, even on the models that they sold after the decision. I think they would enable it on the 10 as well, because that gets in really weird gray areas.
Probably would cost them more to test it, removing it, than it does to keep it in place and disable it with software.
Oh, well. Anything else before we move on to the AirPods? No. Okay. So let's do AirPods. And this, unfortunately, seems to be one of the most confusing areas because the AirPods, we have two versions of AirPods Pro.
AirPods 4.
Well, AirPods 4. Yeah.
We have one version.
We actually have also two versions of
Pro 2.
Yeah, we have also two versions of the AirPods Pro 2, and we have two versions of the AirPods Max now. So
I think you guys just are making my point for me. Yeah, thank you. It just it's the one place I feel like if I were not in the echo chamber, I'd be very, very confused as to what I'm getting for how much and why, especially now with the software upgrade coming and so many features crossing over. So I don't know. I mean, does anybody have these on order or pre-order at this point?
No.
There's nothing really interesting, I think. Not fast.
Chuck, I have a slightly different perspective on this than you do. Please. I think the place where it's confusing is at the end, where you're going to see a lot of just general public getting into AirPods, and that's AirPods 4. Because you have AirPods 4, but you also have AirPods 4. By the way, this other AirPods 4 also has active noise canceling.
Yeah.
And the way you're going to easily tell the difference in a store is the price tag. And that's a horrible way to differentiate between products. Yeah. But then when you get to AirPods Pro 2, What Apple sells today is AirPods Pro 2 with the USB-C case.
Yeah, and the extra high fidelity feature.
Right. So that's what you're buying for AirPods Pro 2 today. And then you get the software update that adds in the new more tightly integrated hearing features.
Mm-hmm.
And then with AirPods Max, there's a new model out. The old model goes away. No, the new model is USB-C.
No. That's the thing. It's. I mean, is it a new model? It's exactly the same model. It's the same internals, different colors, and USB-C. That's literally the difference. Yeah.
So okay. So I should have been clear. What I meant was it's new in that they swapped out Lightning for USB-C, but it's the same product that it was. It just has a different plug on it. Yes. So for most people going in a store, I think the only place they'll really have confusion is AirPods 4 or AirPods 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
And let's not forget about the new colors.
Yeah, but they're only selling now the new color, so it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, that's a clear differentiation. The old ones have one set of colors, the new ones have one set of colors. I think it's pretty clear if you look at the color which one you get, and the plug which one you get. But with the AirPods, you don't know.
I did not know that.
Does it have with or without?
I did not realize that the old colors were not available with USB-C.
Mm-hmm. They've completely replaced them. With slightly different colors. It's not a big difference, but slightly.
Jim, will we be seeing something different colored on your head?
Not for $549.
I have some spray paint.
And
and USB-C.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not worth it.
I've got Lightning plugs. People get so excited about. I mean, what do I care? I have, Lightning cables.
The only reason is if you're in the EU and the EU is forcing you to do it. That's why Apple's doing it. They have to. For you, no difference.
Yeah, I'm not saying of course Apple's going to do this. Because they have to, and also presumably at some point they're going to stop selling Lightning cable. Well, I guess they can't do that for a while because there's.
They could. There's enough third parties.
Yeah, there's plenty of third parties. So, yeah, but it's as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to replace any item other than perhaps the phone for the high-speed USB if I'm doing connectivity. Mm-hmm. But other than that, for just charging, like on the phone, I mostly use MagSafe. I've got a Lightning cable in my car, so it's just like, I'd have to replace that if I get a USB-C phone. It's actually kind of a negative.
MacVoices is supported by 1Password Extended Access Management. It is security for the way we work today. Find out more at onepassword.com/MacVoices. Wouldn't it be great if all of your team members would take security as seriously as you do? Use only company-owned devices and IT-approved apps all the time, every time they log in? Yes, it would, but it isn't realistic. End users are going to go outside the lines, choosing the shortest path to their objective, sometimes right through the heart of hostile online territory. That's why you need 1Password Extended Access Management. Every single user credential is strong, every single device is known and healthy, and every app is visible. No more unmanaged devices, shadow IT apps, and non-employee identities. 1Password Access Management solves the problems traditional IAM and MDM can't. It's security for the way we work today, and it's now generally available to companies with Okta and Microsoft Entra, and in beta for Google Workspace customers. Find out more at onepassword.com/MacVoices. That's onepassword.com/MacVoices to make your company more secure. Thanks to 1Password Access Management for supporting MacVoices. Webb, don't you have a set of AirPods Pro?
I got the Pros. I think these are twos, maybe three, but anyway, yeah. And I have Max's downstairs.
Okay. I thought you had. Yeah, I thought you had Max's.
So these I normally keep up here next to this computer. The Pros I normally keep in my pocket, and when I go to the gym or whatever, I wear them. I use these almost every day, surprisingly so. But I'm not one who keeps them plugged into my ears all day long. So I pull them out and put them in when I need them. There are some people that I've heard that wear these things all day long, and we haven't gotten into it yet. But the hearing aid function I thought was very interesting. And I've been to too many rock and roll shows sitting in the first 3 rows that I've probably damaged my hearing anyway. So I am kind of looking forward to that. And my wife's telling me I need to go get my hearing checked for hearing aids, but I think I just ignore her. So,
Yeah, there was nothing compelling in the whole iPod line or AirPod line that made me want to push a button to buy it. I mean, I have AirPod.
Nothing that needs to replace is how I look at it.
I have an AirPod Max, and I don't use it as much because now all of my entertainment and listening occurs with the Vision Pro. And if I'm on a plane, I don't want headsets on top of, or over-the-ear headphones on top of Vision Pro. And I bought, they're great for noise cancellation, no doubt. And to Jim's point, I bought these little things that are about 1 inch long. It converts a USB into a lightning cable. So I don't have to carry cables. I just carry the little dongles and it does its thing. But the AirPods Pro 2 compared to the AirPods Max, the noise cancellation on the Pro 2 is just good enough to be able to cut out plane engine noise for me. And that's where I need them the most. So those work for me on the plane. I don't have the bulk that I have to carry with it. And then just a weird thing I told Jeff a couple of years ago, I'm not sure he remembers. When I put on noise cancellation, my tinnitus stops. So I do remember Webb and I went to some of the same concerts. And if I just turn on noise cancellation, whether I'm playing something or not, the ringing in my ears stops. So very weird.
Really? That's interesting.
I have a tinnitus question as long as we've jumped down this path, and I'm totally rabbit holing us. So you talk about ringing in your ears. All right. So I caught COVID for the first time in July. Partway through being sick, I was like, what is this high-pitched tone? What device is it coming from? And ultimately, I discovered it's not coming from a device. I'm just hearing a very high-pitched tone. Is that the kind of ringing you're talking about? Or is it something different? And by the way, that tone, I still hear it all the time. I'm assuming that COVID gave me that gift for the rest of my life.
Maybe.
To me, the only way I can describe mine is it's not a tone. A tone makes it sound too nice. But it's not a fluctuating ringing. It's just like an electronic tone ring that goes on forever in the background.
Okay. So
it has lots of different definitions. It can be like a white noise that some people hear. Sometimes it's a deeper tone white noise, as opposed to real bright. It's real low, it's subtle. I have one of my executives that has pretty severe tinnitus, and so when he and I are having a conversation or a meeting, sometimes we have to slow down for a little bit and let him kind of catch up. So
okay,
it can take lots of different forms.
So apparently this is my version of tinnitus, which doesn't have to be the same as everyone else's version of tinnitus. And screw COVID.
Yes. Well, Jeff, Brian has another theory, and then I have one too. So Brian, I'll let you do yours first.
I thought maybe someone's playing a practical joke on you. Put a device
that's
somewhere.
Totally plausible.
It's not me.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I was down for the count, anyone could have come in here and I wouldn't have even known. So someone could have snuck in while I was in bed asleep and planted something in here. Although I have really good hearing, so
maybe it was your office manager.
Well, it could be my office manager. Yeah. Anyhow, but I do like the idea that this is a practical joke. And if
Jeff,
it is, that's fracking awesome.
Jeff, if reach around to the back of your neck and just feel around, and if you feel a little lump, it's the alien implant they haven't quite tuned just right for you.
Yeah, you're in the matrix.
I thought it was an air tag.
Yeah, seriously, I can feel that, and I just assumed I'd been tagged and tracked.
I didn't think they put alien tags in aliens.
Well, it depends on which species you are. Like aliens from the one planet, everyone else is an alien to them.
Yeah, if you're the reptilians, you're one thing. If you're the Greys, you're another. And so,
right.
And then if you're the Gamets, then you're a whole nother one.
Yeah, this one doesn't feel reptilian.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Certainly doesn't feel Klingon either.
The other option is you're actually in the Matrix, and that's the port.
Man, if I'm in the Matrix, I want to have a better reality playing.
Yeah.
Have you been hanging around?
We're making the deal.
Have you been hanging around Musk lately, or are you one of his brain implant?
Well, I'm not dead yet, so I'm assuming no.
Well, you are old enough. It could be that 15-pin connector that the original iPads had or iPods had.
That's true. Yeah. I did get upgraded from SCSI. You wouldn't believe where I had to put the Terminator.
To bring
Chuck,
this
you
back
have lost
to
control, man.
Yeah, did I ever have control, Webb?
Yeah.
Joe in the chat room brings up there's something that we sort of danced around here a little bit, that Apple has a chance to disrupt the hearing aid industry, which charges thousands of dollars for their devices.
Yeah.
And now, right now, it doesn't have FDA approval yet, but they are talking about it being a clinical grade hearing aid, which would be kind of amazing given the price point.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say except, the not only just that, but also the big focus on auditory health was something we heard a lot about. And it's like, okay, if you have any of those issues, then you're probably paying a lot more attention to it. Otherwise, it may have been a throwaway. But I thought it was very interesting, and it just goes right back to Apple becoming a bit more of a health devices oriented company.
They're very much leaning into the health thing, and they have been for a while. And the new hearing aid feature, I think, is super cool. However, I've been seeing people talk about how this completely changes the landscape for hearing aids, and no, it doesn't. If you use a hearing aid and your hearing aid can run for only 6 hours, that's not a useful hearing aid. And realistically, that's what you're looking at with AirPods. I think they're a great supplement idea, and for
the occasional use
occasional use, yeah, like you're someone who doesn't need hearing aids all the time, but there's certain situations where that would make it much easier for you. Boom, just turn on your AirPods for that.
Mm-hmm.
And also people that don't have good insurance.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think this will expand the number of people that have hearing aids, maybe even double it. But you're right. I've seen a number of posts from people saying, well, no way will this replace, I have a hearing aid that goes for 5 days on the battery, and,
Right. And yeah. And yes. It's the other part of that, though, is the whole hearing test thing tied into that. I'm certain, just based on people I interact with on a regular basis, there are so many people that really, really need to have a hearing test. Mm-hmm. And they just don't. And Jim, insurance, that's a big part of it, I'm sure. And then for other people, it's whatever reason. But having something that's just right there, you already have all the pieces, and you don't have to go get a third-party app like you do today to do this. Great. Build it in. Make it easier for people to do this stuff.
Eric, your thinking is exactly along my line, but I'll let you say it.
Yeah, the cost of two AirPods Pro 2 devices is still less expensive than the thousands of dollars for the traditional hearing aids. You also can take and if you have to, you can alternate and use one side at a time to kind of stretch. Have one charging, put one in your ear and stretch it.
Again, that depends on your insurance, though, because like that person that I was mentioning that was on Mastodon said his last 5 days, and he also said he only paid like $200 or something, and it was like a $4,000 hearing aid, but his insurance paid for most of it. So, but I think I said this will probably double the number of people that have access to at least some kind of hearing aids. I think it's huge, and it's fantastic, but I don't think it means that regular hearing aids will go away.
Webb?
I was just looking at a website. It's called the National Council of Aging. There was a regulation that opened up what they call over-the-counter hearing aids, and I think Apple's trying to fit into that category. I do not want to come off as an expert. I just remember this and came off on the webpage. And there are certain regulations that they can't do. Over-the-counter hearing aids cannot amplify sounds more than 111 decibels of sound pressure or 117 decibels of sound pressure at certain devices for certain devices. So there are restrictions, but I think we're talking about what they call over-the-counter OTC or over-the-counter hearing aids, as opposed to some of these professional ones that you would get from an audiologist. That's all I know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah. And Joe in the chat room says hearing aids run as high as $6,000 to $8,000. And he brought up the issue to get 2 pairs of AirPod Pros. So, but if this feels like so many of the other things, if the heart monitors or the EKGs on your Apple Watch, I mean, they're not necessarily a replacement for the professional devices. They're just something that's nice to have and may get you get you to where you should be for the proper care. So that's probably where this fits into. Ben.
Okay. This comment is going to be pure vanity, because for those of us who are perfectly okay with white earphones with long stems, these are fantastic. But when the AirPod Pro 1s came out, they also had a counterpart. I would know because I'm wearing the counterpart.
Oh, the Beats?
Oh, the Beats.
Yes. I liked the fact that you cannot visually identify them as an Apple product. And quite frankly, facing forward, they kind of blend in. So it'd be nice if Apple would offer this same technology to their other brand of headphones, which are a different form, and B, their over and on ear headphones. Because it seems at this point, like everything else in Apple's audio inventory, is playing second fiddle to the AirPods Pro 2.
Ben, I hear you. I mean, I seem to be always the one that says the business aspect of it, as to there has to be a top end. Mm-hmm. There can't be 2 top ends.
Yeah.
Or they fight each other. So you have one top end. And right now they are the AirPods Pro 2. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And so, it is what it is. And who's to say that won't happen at some point? Because we've seen so many features migrate up the chain. So Believe it or not, the panel has even more to say about Apple's Glowtime event announcing the iPhone 16, Apple Watch Series 10, and new AirPods. So we're going to be back next time to keep it going. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.